What's up, everybody? Welcome back into TK Wrestling, and we are here with our Night of Champions 2026 official predictions. We've got the King of the Ring, the Queen of the Ring, we've got a steel cage match, we've got a triple threat match for the WWE Championship, among other things. And it looks to be a pretty good card, Matt. How are you feeling going into Night of Champions coming off our pod we just recorded not too long ago?
Dude, I feel, Night of Champions, like I said, it has a lot of potential to be a WWE universe altering card. I'm really hoping some things happen that I don't think are going to happen, but could, because they've been kind of surprising us with a lot of this so far. So we'll see. I think there's one thing we're both dreading.
Yeah, so like we said, we've got both King and Queen of the Rings being crowned. We've got steel cage rubber match between Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. We've got the triple threat, highly, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but a lot of tensions going on in this triple threat match for the WWE title between Sammy, Gunther, and Cody. And we've got both U.S. titles on the line as well. Women's and men's U.S. titles both on the line. So, look, man, every match is either for a crown, for a title, or is a stipulation. So it's a pretty packed card considering some of the stuff that we have gotten in the past. And I'm not too sad that it's in Saudi because I get to watch it a little earlier in the day. I don't have to risk falling asleep while I'm watching this because as I've become more of a parent, I fall asleep a lot easier now. I can't get too comfortable on the couch anymore. So, but yeah, we're getting into Night of Champions now. Matt, we did talk before the pod about how the King and Queen of the Ring finals will be decided on the Hour ESPN show. We're not necessarily going in that order. We're just going to talk about the order that we have it on the outline. So just know that we're not necessarily in order, and those two matches will be first, but we don't care about WWE's order. We're going on
This is
our
the
time.
order that it would be if it wasn't for ESPN, basically,
Let me look. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I would argue that maybe Seth and Braun being in a cage and this not being, I would almost argue that maybe Cody, Gunther, and Sammy could open, because then they get the crowd really hyped up. You get Cody out there the second it starts, and then maybe you get this big grudge match between Seth and Braun in the main event. I wouldn't be mad at that, but I could. It's a coin toss for me, whichever of those could main event. So
I almost had Cody opening. So
I could see that either way.
All right.
If he's not main eventing, he's opening. So there you go. All right, so first we're going to get into, for our Night of Champions predictions, give me 1 second. We've got the Men's U.S. Championship on the line. Trick Williams defending against Ricky Saints, not Ricky Starks. I think this is probably the perfect place for Ricky Saints. I don't know that I see him winning the championship so early from Trick. I think Trick still has a little bit to go with this, but also, who really knows, man? This title could hot potato around a little bit, especially since I don't think that Carmelo is quite done with everything going on. So this could hot potato around a little bit between the three. So maybe Carmelo gets involved or something happens and Ricky just takes advantage, or maybe Trick or Carmelo doesn't get involved at all. Either way, I think if you're asking me to pick just like gut decision, I got to say Trick is retaining, but I reserve all thoughts in my brain for something that could possibly happen and surprise us. And now all of a sudden Ricky Saints is randomly the U.S. champion very quick. But I think that I'm still going to go Trick to retain here. I think he's going to hold the title for a little bit.
All right. See, look, I think this will depend on SmackDown Friday. Don't get me wrong. But
we haven't seen SmackDown yet. True.
I'm taking Ricky Saints to win this.
Okay. We're already on the opposite end.
I think this is kind of a fluid title. It's going to move a little bit. And I feel like this adds drama and this gives some credibility to Ricky Saints that if they're pushing him pretty hard, it feels like. So he needs something. I feel like he can't go in this match and lose. I feel like he needs to win, especially, is he the heel? Are they both heels technically? I mean,
technically, yes. But...
so I feel like he's going to win in some kind of heelish way, take the title, and then he could lose it by next SmackDown, But I feel like he's going to have it for a second, just to see if what the B world does. Because I feel like WWE right now they're really kind of massaging, Ricky Saints and trying to see if he's going to make it or not, So
I don't know what Matt's talking about massaging over here, but hey.
Massaging his character.
Hey, man, you can massage whatever you want in your free time. I don't really care what you do. Hey man, do whatever floats your boat, But yeah, I know I do agree that maybe we are in a little bit of a feeling out process with Ricky and how he resonates with the crowd. I wouldn't even be shocked if maybe Ricky does win it here, and then on SmackDown maybe Carmelo like goads him into a rematch, but this time the title's on the line, and now we
Right.
maybe see that title flop from Trick to Ricky to Carmelo all within the span of a week. And then maybe at SummerSlam, we're talking about a triple threat between all three of them. And maybe you can even have Trick win it back at SummerSlam. And it's like everybody got a separate reign, but it just kind of shows you how good and competitive this mid card scene really is. The title could change hands at any moment because all these guys are so good. So yeah, I while I do think the Trick is still going to win, I don't hate the Ricky Saints
I mean,
shout and pick.
look, Trick is probably going to win because that's what WWE does. But Ricky Saints winning changes a lot of stuff, I feel like. I feel like it opens a door that hasn't been opened yet. That's what I want to see. So,
All right. So, cool. We're split already, and I love when we get to split our picks. Because when we pick the same stuff, that's just boring. That's just boring. But I do like when we split our picks. So cool. Ricky, I'm going Trick. All right, now jumping into the Women's U.S. Championship, we've got Tiffy time defending against Jade Cargill. Tiffy and Jade going at it again for maybe the millionth time in the last 18 to 24 months. This time for the mid-card title. So, like you said in our notes, we've got two main eventers going after the mid-card title. And I don't know, I maybe feel like this is kind of a Becky situation where we're getting some prestige added to that Women's U.S. Championship when maybe we haven't had a whole lot of prestige added to that U.S. title yet. When we look at who's held it so far, it's been Chelsea Green, Julia, Zelina Vega, and now Tiffy. And am I missing anybody? I don't think I am.
I think you kind of hit everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I mean, Chelsea twice or whatever, or
yeah,
multiple times,
yeah.
So,
And so now when you look at Tiffy, she's the highest profile name to hold that championship so far. And now you've got Jade coming after it as well. And maybe Jade's really just going after it because Tiffy has it, not because necessarily that she wants to be U.S. champion that desperately. But I do like the idea of having two main card women going after the mid card scene to make it feel important, especially when the women's championship is already pretty much tied up in terms of whoever is going to win. Because you look at it, no matter who wins the women's Queen of the Ring final, more than likely is going after the WWE championship. If Liv wins it, she's obviously going after the title. If Io wins it, she's probably going to go have a rematch against her best friend. So it's very interesting where the women's title scene is right now. So I like these two being in the mid card scene. Now that being said, my gut tells me that I want to pick Jade. Again, a short title run, then maybe we can have Tiffy jump up to the main scene again. And I also don't know what's going on with her and Chelsea, so maybe she and Chelsea form a tag team after this is all said and done and go on like a tag title run with those women tag titles. But you know what? I was gonna pick Tiffy, but I feel like my gut is telling me too much to pick Jade, and I feel like the WWE really likes having championships on Jade Cargill. So
okay.
look, man, at the risk of being really wrong because this is her first title defense with it, I think, right, for Tiffy, give me Jade Cargill to take that title off of Tiffy on Saturday and become the new U.S. Women's Champion. I think they're stacking both of these women's resumes really quick. So yeah, give me Jade to win this and Tiffy maybe to go on to have a tag team run. And look, if she doesn't and Tiffy does retain here, I see something with her and Chelsea maybe feuding for that U.S. title again and Chelsea eventually taking it off of Tiffy. So I think either way, Tiffy is wrapped up with Chelsea Green, for at least a few more weeks to another month or two after this is all said and done.
This is the second hardest maybe match for me to pick. I'm taking Tiffy for all the reasons that I don't have. No, that's a dumb reason. Look, I don't think she's given it up yet. I just don't see the storyline with Jade winning it, I guess. I see storylines with Tiffy winning it, like you said, with Chelsea and whatnot. I see Jade going more still, even though Rhea's hurt, I still see her more in that sphere, in the sphere with Naomi and Bianca as well. I don't see her switching. I don't know where she goes, or I don't know who comes at her. And it could open things up. It really could if she wins. But I just see Tiffy winning this. I think it's still Tiffy time. Like you said, she hasn't really defended it yet. I feel like she gets this defense because I feel like this is kind of the comeback for Tiffy. I need this comeback for Tiffy. I feel like she's been kind of off the radar for the last year and a half, 2 years. I believe this is her comeback as she moves up. She's not losing this belt yet. I'm taking Tiffy to win, and then we'll see what happens. We'll see if she feuds, and we'll see if Jade comes back in. We could have Tiffy and Jade again at SummerSlam or something like that for this title, and Jade could win it then, because by that point, Tiffy's ready to go on to something else. Or she could feud with Chelsea. I don't see Chelsea taking it off of her, though. But we'll see. But it's too soon for Tiffy. I've got Tiffy on the up right now. I think she's going up.
All right. Hey, look, I'm never going to be upset that we're opposed on the picks, like I just said.
No, I thought you were going to take Tiffy, too, at first. So
I really wanted to. And I still even feel like, especially after I gave the reasoning of like her and Chelsea being involved with each other, I do think that there is that risk that Tiffy is going to win and that Chelsea is going to have that feud with her. But again, you talk about, keeping, or how Tiffy has been like out of the spotlight a little bit. Again, I wouldn't be shocked if we're padding resumes a lot. And I don't think Tiffy has held those tag team championships yet. So making her that much closer to a Grand Slam champion, I think, why waste the time? Why not do it? And then Chelsea gets another tag team championship run. And I'm never upset when I see Chelsea with a championship running around. So
no, her and Chelsea are an interesting tag. They've already tagged once. It'd be an interesting tag. They're, like I said, it's kind of the Damian Priest R-Truth. It's the comedy and the wrestler,
Which is so funny because Chelsea is probably the best women's wrestler on the entire roster. But
is she? I mean,
okay. Yeah, she could wrestle circles around a lot of these
people.
Look,
don't get me wrong. I am not knocking her ability at all. I think Chelsea is fantastic. Everything she does is gold, Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen her like do a frog splash or something,
Well, she's been very maintained in WWE. I'm telling you, her and Penta had a crazy match against each other.
Right. No, I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
We're gonna have to watch that so you can not only see what Chelsea can do, but see how ruthless Penta can be, because he did not care.
In my brain, I just see it as being a really funny comedy match, but I guess
no, it was
not.
It was brutal. It was like I said, Penta, whenever he has a mean streak about him, he can be ruthless, and he did not care that. And I'm sure Chelsea was like, lay it in, dude. Like, don't give me any special treatment. Do the same moves you do to everybody else, because it was a fantastic match. At this point, it's probably a 10-year-old match, if not a little older.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been a long time. And Chelsea Green, she's had a lot of different runs as a lot of different characters. And again, one of the better wrestlers on the roster, not just women, but overall, but also probably one of the most underutilized. And according to Michael P.S. Hayes, she will stay that way because they don't view her as main event.
Right. Yeah,
but hopefully this is a change to all that. If you keep her around main event women, maybe eventually she'll, I don't know. I just wouldn't be shocked if Chelsea is a randomly Miss Money in the Bank at some point, so anyways, you're going Tiffy, I'm going Jade. So cool. We'll keep, I like the splits. You have the men's U.S. title changing hands. I have the women's U.S. title changing hands. So we're already picking some title changes to happen. So I like that as well. All right, let's jump into, what do we have next? The steel cage match. Seth freaking Rollins versus Braun Breaker. Now, look, I genuinely thought the feud between these two was over after their last match. And me, I had Seth, picked to win the entire King of the Ring tournament and go after Roman. You talked last episode about how you see Seth being one of the only guys that could dethrone Roman. And I thought there was a good possibility that might happen at SummerSlam, or they were at least going to get that match. But I guess we're not finished with this. We're going to get the tiebreaker now. And look, I'm going to give you the reins to take over here because I want to hear your opinions about it first, mostly because I'm still pretty torn. I don't really know who I want to win this match yet, but I'll let you take the reins on this one since Seth is your guy.
No, 1,000, dude. Like I said, this is the hardest one for me to pick, and it's not because Seth's my guy. I just don't know, because I don't feel like this really ends. These guys, there's so much hate between these two guys. It's like how I feel about Roman and Fatu. Like, I'm surprised that Fatu eventually bowed down, and accepted his tribal chief, because it felt like there was so much bad blood. There was no way that Fatu was ever gonna side with Roman. So that this ever ends between Seth and Braun based on what happened between them, I don't think it's anytime soon. So I'm not surprised there's another match. I just don't know. Like, these guys just keep getting in each other's ways of getting to a title. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just keep, it's kind of like how when like Punk and Drew a year or two ago, kept screwing each other over, anytime that you're trying to get into a title. So I don't know when this ends. I don't know what happens here, because I don't know where the story goes after this. Like, I feel like even though one of them wins, I don't feel like the other one's getting away from him. I feel like sure, Seth beats Braun. Then Seth's next match, Braun still shows up and spears him at some point, or Braun beats Seth. And what do you know? Out of nowhere, Seth comes up and gets a stomp in or something, I mean, I don't know where this overall story is going at all until Seth tells me he's going after Roman, like that's the only place I feel like Seth can go, right? Where else can Seth go? He's got to go after Roman, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that's the next step. And he even said on this past Monday Night Raw in his sit down with Corey that once he's done with division, that's phase 1 of his plan, and phase 2 is to go back and get the championship he never lost. And so I wouldn't even mind seeing, look, we'll talk more about that in a little bit, but I wouldn't mind seeing Seth going after that title and not succeeding and getting brought back down to earth a little bit. Because I feel like right now, even though Seth is the babyface, and we've seen this story a lot, and like, I'm going to get the championship back that I never lost. I want Seth to maybe be humanized a little bit, that, look, man, just because you didn't lose the title doesn't mean that you're automatically going to win it back when you do get your shot. So I don't know. I don't know what is next for Seth other than going after the world championship. And look, I guess I'll give you my pick. I think I have Seth winning. I think that when I look at the grand scheme of things, I think Seth needs to win, but I also think that Braun Breaker really needs the win.
Right.
It's really tough, man. And I guess gun to my head, I'm picking Seth, but it's like a 51 to 49% split for me.
If Seth doesn't win, he can't go after Roman, right? Like, and if Seth doesn't win, and he's not going after Roman, I don't know where Seth's going. I have no idea. And they're not writing him off of television. He's been off of television too much the last year and a half with injury. So he's in. If Braun doesn't win, he's going after Seth.
Yeah, I almost feel like I want this match to end somehow. I know it's a steel cage, but I almost want this match to end with some like questionable, not tactics or antics, but like somehow a double, like both men can't compete anymore. Like they do something where maybe they go to the top of the cage, right, and they like crash through something where it's okay, they both hit the floor at the same time, and now they're both taken out, and they both have to get stretchered out or something. So that way we can extend this to their last match that could be at SummerSlam. Because this just feels like, where do both guys go in such a short amount of time with SummerSlam right around the corner? Like, do we get Braun Breaker and Austin Theory in a rematch for the tag titles? I don't really want to see that. And so I don't know. I feel like this has to end in a way that gives us a way to one more match between them. Because, again, if Braun or Seth both lose clean, they have no right to say, okay, I want one more match against you. The other one would be like, no, 2-1, buddy. I won the best of 3 series. And so, I don't know. I'm picking Seth, but I really want this to somehow be a no contest. Somehow.
I would love that in some way. Like you said, they both came down, like you said, and smashed through something from the top of the cage. Here's my other question. When are we getting Paul Heyman back? Paul's been gone now for, a month almost since Braun speared him?
Yeah.
So when we getting Paul back? Like, that's key to me for where Braun goes, because that gives you some idea, since he's still the head of the family in a sense, that's my thing. Where's Paul? When's Paul coming back? So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, what they're thinking. So it needs to be a no contest, that, or somebody needs to interfere that's not in the vision, but there's no reason. Like what if, Fatu came out and screwed up Seth, but why would he do that?
Hey, what if Bronson Reed is back on Saturday?
But that's still vision though, but that'd be fine.
For sure.
That would be a nice way to bring Bronson back. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I don't know.
I just don't see how anybody outside of this current storyline interfering.
It doesn't make any sense. But if the vision interferes, and Seth's like, I want one more match, and
yeah.
I want this story to move on. I want it to move on. So I guess there's no way Seth wins. Braun wins by or he's got to win by vision help somehow.
He's got to win by vision. There you go. You heard it here first. Nah.
Braun wins by vision.
All right, cool. So we're split again.
We're split again, and I don't want to be, dude. I want to take Seth so bad.
But here's the thing. I feel like you're taking the picks that make the most sense, and I feel like I'm taking picks because I see things on the other side. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if the Ricky Saints pick makes any sense.
Well, I mean, who knows, man? That U.S. title could be swapped around a lot, so who knows? All right. Well, we've talked about King and Queen of the Ring. Let's finally get into the predictions for those. We're going to start with Queen of the Ring. We've got the World Heavyweight Champion Liv Morgan going up against Io Sky once again. These two women, again, we're seeing a lot of rematches on this card. And so Liv and Io going at it for the Queen of the Ring title. Matt, I'm going to let you take the reins on this one right off the rip. Tell me who you got winning and tell me why both women winning would make sense in the aftermath of all this.
No, I mean you could totally take either woman. This is assuming as well that Liv is not hurt, right?
Well, she was on Monday Night Raw walking around in 6-inch heels. I'm assuming she's fine.
Well, I thought she got hurt like in when was that Saturday match or whatever that was? Anyways,
that was the Saturday before Raw.
Saturday match. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then she's fine. Okay. So assuming Liv is 100, Liv wins. Why? Because they want to give her both titles. That's what they're going to do. They're going to give Liv both titles. Rhea can't defend. They're going to give Liv both titles. They're going to make her the greatest ever or whatever.
The greatest double champion of all.
There you go. And that opens up her and Becky Lynch too, right? Because now you've got the greatest of all time versus the greatest of all time. You know, who's going to win? Becky wants one of those titles, but Rhea's hurt.
Becky, who was the first woman to win a WrestleMania main event, she also walked out of that WrestleMania a double champion. She had the Raw and the SmackDown Women's Championship.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Becky's going to want to come for Liv once that happens, you know?
Interesting.
For sure. So, look, right now Rhea's hurt. Rhea's being hurt screws everything up, obviously, because I think originally they were going to have Charlotte win this whole thing, you know? That's why Charlotte had to get beat down on SmackDown, you know, to lose to Liv, you know, because I mean, I think we all know Charlotte should win that match.
She should, yeah.
But now you've got Liv and Io, man. Look, the reason Io doesn't win is because if Io wins, what does she do? Why did she just pick Liv again? She just beat her, you know? Like, why don't you just take her on? So, I don't know. I feel like, or she takes on Rhea, and I don't want to see that match yet, especially not if Rhea's on 100. And that's not going to happen anytime soon. So for all those reasons, I've got Liv winning this, and I've got Liv becoming double champion. And then, I mean, who knows what kind of crazy fuse, but I think Becky's coming. So then we're getting Becky Liv, maybe at WrestleMania or some shit. I don't know.
I am going to go out on a limb, and I know this always works out so great when I do this, but I think that I'm picking Io. So we're split again. I'm picking Io.
We haven't agreed at all.
And I love it. I'm picking Io, and I think that the other Judgment Day women are finally going to, I don't think it's going to be on purpose, but I think maybe Raquel and or Roxanne try to help, and maybe it ends up costing Liv. And I think that maybe in the aftermath of all that, on this upcoming Monday Night Raw, maybe Liv like snaps on Raquel and Roxanne and like really lays into them about everything. And I think maybe that's when Raquel can kind of like snap at her, because Raquel, you already saw Raquel like stepped up and said something to Liv this week, and then Liv again, played down the situation, calmed everyone down. But then at the end of it, Roxanne was like, well, where does that leave me? And then before the answer could come, they were like, we got to get JD to the doctor. JD has to go to the doctor because you remember JD McDonough got electrocuted this past Monday night. So
Danhausen. We don't talk enough about Danhausen.
Danhausen's peak comedy. So I'm picking Io, and I think that when you ask me about Rhea, I don't know, because it's so up in the air. We don't know how hurt she is. And SummerSlam is still so far away. She doesn't have to be an active competitor. She has like 6 more weeks to heal. So it really depends on that. But regardless, I would like to see Io win. Say she's going to challenge, the WWE champion, assuming that it's going to be Rhea Ripley. If Rhea Ripley has to get pulled, then you can hold some sort of like championship scramble or like a mini tournament where you can crown a new number 1 contender to take on Io, and it's just going to be a vacated championship. And then I could even see like Io winning that and Io holding that championship until Rhea gets back.
Well, I can totally see if Rhea vacates like that, I can totally see Io taking it. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can even have Io declare, she's saying, I'm going to face my best friend and we're going to fight one more time. And then whenever she's there on SmackDown to make her announcement, that's when Rhea can come out and be like, well, I actually just got a note from the doctor that I'm not medically cleared and I have to vacate the title. So Io's already made her decision. She's already locked in on that championship. And then when Rhea comes back, now she has even more of a reason to go back after the title. Just like Seth is saying that she never lost. And now maybe we get Io and Rhea one more time at WrestleMania. And I think that Liv and Raquel are still destined for SummerSlam on the other side of all this. So I think that Liv, in a funny way, makes the most sense to win this, but I feel like storyline wise, she's got to lose. I feel like that she's going to, because let's say that Rhea does vacate. What's going to happen now? Who's Liv going to face? And so I think when you're looking at the fact that Rhea could vacate and you're faced with that, conundrum, I feel like you already have Raquel on the Monday Night Raw side of things with a storyline that's been brewing for so long that we're ready to see it boil over. When if you were to make Liv win and she goes after the other champion and Rhea has to vacate, how do you make up for that? Like, how do you make up a new person for Liv to go after without just giving her the championship? And unless Raquel steps up and says, well, I'll face you and the winner gets the whatever. But I don't want to see that. Like, I want to see Liv and Raquel for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I want to see Io and Rhea. And if Rhea can't go, I want to see Io versus whoever they put in that number one contender spot. Maybe that can be Alexa Bliss or maybe that could be Jade Cargill if Jade Cargill doesn't take Tiffany Stratton down, or it could be Tiffany Stratton. I feel like there are a few names it could be, but I feel like having Liv win with the possibility of Rhea not being medically cleared really convolutes a lot of things and makes a lot of things weird. So give me Liv to lose.
I think having Liv go this far made things weird in the first place. I mean,
no, I agree.
Originally, I had her out in the first round,
Same.
But now that I've taken her this far, I mean, I don't know how you don't put 2 belts on her,
Yeah, I think that I just think that they're teasing Raquel and Roxanne too much for it to not come to a head. No, they are teasing a
blow up there of some kind.
Like they're teasing it so much that I feel like at this point, if they don't capitalize on it, the internet might riot. It might just they might just start boycotting Liv Morgan. Like it might make people hate Liv Morgan more than just the point of her being a heel. Like they might start like not liking Liv Morgan being on their screen anymore. It might get to that point. So with that being said, I think that you got to have Liv lose here and her blame the Judgment Day women for her loss. And then they can finally snap and, whatever can happen on the other side of that. So give me Io to win. Even though it's probably Liv. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know. All right.
Yeah,
next
it's really up in the air.
Jay and Oba, man. All right, look. Yeah, I took the reins on the last one. I'll let you tell me why Jay or Oba wins this one.
Yeah, we've got the King of the Ring tournament finals. We've got Oba Femi. He's an Oba feminist. That's what he says. Oba Femi taking on Jey Uso. Now, look, you want to talk about a guy I saw getting out in the first round, Jey Uso. I thought there was no way he would that the WWE was going to push him to the tournament finals, and I should have known better. And here we are. We've got Oba Femi. We've got the main event. Jey Uso. And look, man, if WWE is trying to make us dislike Jey Uso, they're doing a really damn good job. Like, I know it feels like he's not disliked because you see the crowds on screen and you see what people are doing in the arenas or whatever, but people online are tired of this guy. They're tired of seeing him win, especially over guys that, like, look, you're telling me you wouldn't have rather had seen Oba and Javon Evans? And maybe that makes it a little too obvious that Oba's going to win because there's no way that Javon goes on to take down Roman Reigns right now. But I don't know, man. If you're asking me, do I want to see Jey Uso against anybody right now? The answer is no. I've already told you where I see Jey Uso going. I think that he's going to end up in that tag match, him and his brother against Fatu and Solo at SummerSlam. So I guess that makes it pretty obvious that I've got Oba Femi winning this. Now, I wouldn't be shocked if we see a Brock Lesnar appearance tonight. You asked me, when do we see Paul Heyman come back? I wouldn't be shocked if it's with Brock Lesnar at Night of Champions. And now that being tied into the Vision stuff, I don't know. Maybe in the aftermath of all that, Braun Breaker's a little pissed off at Paul Heyman and he decides to go his own way. And now we've got Braun just kind of doing his own thing. But if that's not the case, whatever. I do think that there's a very good possibility we see Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar show up and maybe even try to cost Oba the match. And I think that Oba will still win. And I think that he'll probably eat an F5 or two while the ref is down or the ref has their back turned or something on the outside. And maybe he'll leave Oba to like lose to the 10 count or whatever. And then Oba beats it like right at the 9 count. It's like, oh my God, not only did he get up from 3 F5s, but he got up within 10 seconds of taking 3 F5s. And then he goes in, Jey Uso gets hot and tries to do his thing. Oba cuts him off. Maybe he even like catches Jey Uso like off the top rope and does that throw that he does where he just tosses dudes, and or maybe he catches him off the top rope into the, into his finisher, into the power bomb. However it happens, for the sake of the wrestling world and my sanity, it has to be Obafemi. It has to be Obafemi, and I'm gonna say it again. It has to be Obafemi. It can't be Jey Uso. Matt, I know I joke a lot, but if Jey Uso wins this, I might be a permanent AEW resident from now on. I don't know if I'll be able to digest weekly television with Jey Uso being the number one contender yet again. And I don't think he goes after Roman, because that would be a lot of like Jey Uso all of a sudden now he doesn't care about Roman and wants to take the title off of Roman and he wants to be the tribal chief, and I don't see that happening. So that means he is going to probably go after the winner of Gunther, Cody, and Sammy, and I don't want to see that either. So for the sake, again, for the wrestling world and for my sanity, we need Obafemi to be the Iron Man to the Thanos that is Jey Uso right now. We need him to put the glove on and snap and return us back to our original timeline. It has to happen. We can't have main event Jey Uso competing for a world championship at SummerSlam this year. It just cannot happen. So I'm picking Obafemi, and the more and more I see it, the more and more I like the Obafemi pulling double duty at SummerSlam against Brock and against Roman. Now, I'm not saying that he necessarily has to beat Roman. I think he does beat Brock no matter what. But if he beats Brock and takes a beating and then the next night goes on to have like a banger against Roman, but still takes a loss there, I think that's good for both guys. I don't think that Oba's going to take any heat for that loss, especially after beating and retiring the Beast the night before. So give me Obafemi to win this. Give me Obafemi to go on to pull double duty at SummerSlam and maybe split those matches, maybe even win both. But I think that we see Brock Lesnar at Night of Champions, and I think that we see Oba go on to pull double duty against Brock and Roman at SummerSlam. So that's what I'm picking. You tell me that you're picking Jey Uso, and the whole wrestling world is going to collapse within itself.
Get ready for a new viewer, AEW.
My God.
Jey Uso beats Obafemi, and then when he does declare, he declares on Roman, and he goes after Roman because he's sick of Roman treating him like shit compared to Fatu. I've been here, and you're taking Jacob over me, and he defects, and we get that super dark
Man, but could you see Jey winning that match, though?
God, I don't want him to. I want everything you said to happen. But yes, I can
Not
see.
even against Oba. I mean, if he beats Oba, and he goes against Roman at SummerSlam, there's no way that Jey beats him. Absolutely no way.
I don't know. Dark Jey might. Dark Jey with the powers of the Sith.
Man, I feel like this is the absolute worst case scenario. I just don't.
God, what if Jey then went to Danhausen and asked him for superpowers?
Hey man, look, I need you to give me all the Infinity Stones.
I need you to curse Roman.
Yeah, I need you to curse Roman. I need you to curse Roman Reigns. Yeah, and then they're gonna go on a tour to Europe, and Danhausen is gonna curse the Romans because they're gonna be in Rome one episode. I cursed the Romans for you. I did it. I cursed the Romans. Does Rome have a team in the World Cup?
As long as he doesn't go after Cody. I know he said he wants to go after Cody. If Jey wins, I want him to go after Roman. I feel like that's the better story. That is an infinitely better story. I could have a ton of fun with that story. I don't know what to do with the way you book it works. That's the only way it works is Oba doesn't win. And great. But I don't know, like I said, because they apparently got Roman Reigns and The Rock in WrestleMania. So who knows what's going to happen. But I would love it if Jey won and then Jey decided like in 2 weeks he's going after Roman. No, I'm not going after Cody. I decided I'm tired of this Jacob. What happened to me?
Going after you, Oos.
Yeah, I'm sick of the way you treat me, Oos.
This is your warning shot. Bow. I don't know. I just I went from being such a fan of Jey Uso like 2 years ago to like get this guy off of my screen. I
like the angry Jey. I like angry Jey.
The thing is I've seen the angry Jey. I've seen the right hand man Jey Uso before.
I don't want right hand man Jey though. I like angry Jey. I don't like right hand man Jey.
Right hand man Jey. That was how he became the right hand man, was because he was just a crash out for Roman. Like he just did anything and didn't care what other people thought. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I guess I just like
I want to see the bloodline defectors, man. Like I said, I want LA Knight and like Seth to lead a team. And it's like LA, Seth, Montez and Jay. I don't know, something.
Maybe by Survivor Series. I mean, that would assume that everybody is coexisted until November, which I can't see. But we could see like Bloodline going up against like Seth, Street Profits, LA Knight, because it would be Roman, Usos, Fatu, Solo against what? Seth, Profits, LA Knight, and man, I don't even know who would be the fifth guy for the babyface team. Maybe Oba, out of necessity. They partner up with Oba because he's got beef with Roman or whatever.
Right. Or Solo.
I was assuming Solo would be on the Bloodline side. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Assuming that storyline went that way.
Who knows? Like I said, well, maybe Solo sticks and doesn't ever come over.
Yeah.
And it's Jimmy, Fatu, Roman, and we get two others on there. Who else could they get? Sammy.
I feel like Sammy's going to be healed by that point.
Yeah, maybe it's Sammy then. Maybe Sammy's on the other side, not Solo.
Yeah, maybe so.
But yeah, anyways, regardless, I want Jay, I want Dark Jay, and I want Dark Jay. I want him to be sick of getting treated like Roman like this. I want him to do what we want Jacob to do. I want somebody to clap back. I don't want him to go, yeah, I'm just listening to what Roman said. Now I'm going after Cody. No, screw that. If that's what happens, yeah, then I'll be with you. I'm on AEW, But if he wins and he goes, or even if he says that, and then in 2 weeks he just gets sick, he's like, you know what? I'm changing my declaration. I'm going after you, Boom.
Yeah.
Then I'm happy. So.
All right. Well, let's jump into what will probably be the main event. It's a triple threat match for the WWE Championship. We've got Cody Rhodes defending against Gunther and Sami Zayn in a triple threat match. Now, look, these guys have been intertwined for 2 months now at this point, give or take, and everything is coming to a head now. Gunther chose Sami Zayn to be the special guest referee, and I know a lot of people really didn't like how that went down. I actually kind of loved Sami not putting up with Gunther's shit and saying like, oh, hell no, dude, absolutely not. And Gunther powerbombing Sami while he's the ref was pretty hilarious. So look, there was no way that match with Sami as the ref was going to end in any other way but in chaos. There was no way. We saw the triple threat match coming from a mile away. And so now that it's happening, you talk about the hardest match to pick. I think this might be the hardest match to pick because I think they've done a really good job of making me feel like Cody, Gunther, or Sami could realistically take it. And then we got the backstage interaction between Jey Uso and Sami, with Jey Uso telling Sami Zayn of all people that he's crashing out too much, that Sami is losing control too much. And it's like, really, Jay? That's funny coming from you talking to Sami. Because back when y'all were in the OG bloodline together, Sami was the one always talking you down from the ledge. And now all of a sudden you're talking to him about being the better person. And so when I look at the triple threat match, obviously I could see Cody retaining for obvious reasons. Sami, I could see him getting like a squeaky clean win. We talked about a few weeks ago, or not a squeaky clean win, where we talked about a few weeks ago, where he finally takes that kill shot and finally hits Cody with the haluva kick. Now, I'll tell you what I actually see happening, which is what I said a few weeks ago, is I could see a situation where Gunther gets Cody in the sleeper hold. Cody's fighting out. He pushes Gunther back into the corner trying to fight out, but again, no disqualification. So the corner doesn't break the hold. There's no ref there to count it. And Sami, from off camera, comes in, boom, haluva kick on Cody. And he realizes, like, I finally did it. I hit Cody with the haluva kick. He doesn't capitalize fast enough. And who's there that he didn't hit with the haluva kick that's still recovering, but Gunther. And then Gunther, boom, locks Sami in the sleeper. Sami passes out while Gunther holds him. While we look at Cody, he finally comes to and he tries to go break up the sleeper hold, and it's too late. The ref calls it. Sami ends up passing out. He cost Cody his championship, and now Gunther is your new WWE champion. And so I think Sami finally makes the kill shot. He finally does what he needs to do against his friend Cody, but he takes his eye off the ball a little too long, and Gunther capitalizes. And now he leaves both Cody, I said it a few weeks ago, he leaves Cody and Sami recovering on the ground in opposite corners, just staring at each other. Neither one of them WWE champion. And Gunther is walking out, cackling like he does, with the pyro going off in the background, and Sami and Cody just looking defeated while Gunther's in the background just holding up his title. So give me Gunther to walk out of this match as the new WWE champion. I don't know who gets the match at SummerSlam. I would assume it'd be Cody getting the rematch. But and who knows if Jey Uso wins? Maybe he wants his shot back at Gunther because him and Gunther have history. I mean, Jey has history with all these guys. If we're being real, he was tag team champions with Cody. Him and Sammy were in the bloodline together, and they had that match against each other at WrestleMania. And Jay obviously has history with Gunther. So I could realistically see if Jay does win going after any of these three guys. But for this match specifically, if Jay was to win, I think he would be calling his shot at Gunther because I think Gunther's going to be the new WWE champion.
I really want Sammy.
Me
God,
too.
I really want
Me
Sammy.
too.
I don't know if I can't pick him though, man. I just can't. I don't see how. I don't see WWE doing it. I mean, I feel like that's what they should do. I feel like Sammy should win. This is Sammy's time. If Sammy's ever had a time, it's now, right? And
this is in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
Sammy's
right.
going to be over like huge.
Exactly. This is it. And I think you're probably more right about Gunther, man. Regardless, Cody's not winning it. Cody's losing.
Okay.
Cody loses.
I really thought you were going to pick Cody to retain. To be honest.
I think Cody drops it here now because that makes a better story, right? Cody's had it too long. He needs to drop it, man. Like he needs to drop it to somebody. I don't know, dude. Maybe this. I didn't realize how tough this one was because I'm so just set on Sammy winning, but he's not going to win it. Like I got to be real with myself, you know. It's like LA Knight's never going to win it.
It sounds like we're about to agree on our first pick of the night.
Santi had a question. Like it was like, would you rather go to jail for 2 years or go to jail until LA Knight wins a world title?
I'll take my 2 years. I'll take my 2 years. I saw another one like this. It said, would you rather go to jail for 6 months or go to jail until your mom beats Elden Ring without any help? And I said, give me my 6 months, dude. My mom's going to be calling me in 4 months saying, which button is X?
Yeah.
Which button is X?
Yeah. Even if my mom figured it out, it's going to take her longer than 6 months.
Yeah.
No. So look, no, dude. I feel like it's Gunther, and God, I hate it because that would change my Jay story. Because Jay probably would rather go after Gunther. Oh, that'd be gross. Oh, that's
all right.
Gross.
Official pick, gun to your head. Who you picking?
Gunther, man. I'm taking Gunther.
All right. Our first one we agree on. Finally, we agree on one. All right. Yeah, dude. I think unfortunately for storyline narrative, Gunther winning just kind of makes the most sense, unfortunately.
But God, I'll be so happy if they pull the trigger and Darth Sammy comes out. I'm making that Darth Sammy meme, I think.
For sure. Look, if he does the kill shot and he hits that Haluva kick, like same situation, but he makes the Haluva kick hit both of them, and then he ends up getting the pin at Sammy's new WWE champion in Saudi Arabia, I'll be ecstatic. I'll be thrilled. But I just I know better than to hold my breath underwater when it comes to WWE saving me. So
that's why I said, LA Knight never getting it, so.
No. And I don't think LA Knight will ever get it, especially after that interview he did with CVV. So he went into detail about a lot of stuff. So anyways, LA Knight, a guy that's not even on this card. So super fun about that. All right, well, that has been our Night of Champions predictions. What did you guys think? I think this is the most that Matt and I have ever been opposed on picks for any PLE predictions. So we're going to split it. We're going to split it and then both get the main event right, and we'll tie anyways or something. Yeah. But all right, look, King and Queen of the Ring on the first hour of ESPN, and then it's only a 4-match card. I was a little confused because I thought last night on Raw, they were also advertising that the steel cage match was also going to be on the first hour. And I was like, damn, we're getting 3 matches in the first hour and then 3 matches on the PLE.
Short matches, yeah.
Yeah, but it looks like it's just going to be the 2 Queen and King of the Ring matches on the first hour, and then the other 4 will be the main card. So really good card, like we talked about. Really excited for this one. Excited to see what they do in Saudi because they like to pull these big moments at these foreign shows. So hopefully they do. Look, it's something big's got to happen. And it's either Sammy winning or Jey Uso winning. Unfortunately, I think, and I think that one of those.
It's also Brock returning or not returning.
Brock too, yeah.
Brock showing up.
Yeah. So look, man, I don't know what exactly is going to happen, but there's going to be some big moments, I feel. And again, early start time on Saturday, it's in Saudi, and then early start time on Monday Night Raw next week because they'll be in Atlantic City. So they're starting at like 5 p.m. Central, I think. So just a little bit earlier. But yeah, this has been our Night of Champions predictions. What did you guys think? Let us know down in the comments. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, share with your friends, hit the noti bell so you get all the notifications for all the videos we post. Make sure you go check us out on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We don't use Twitter or X, so we're not on that, but go check out Matt's channel, Impossible Octopus Culture Corner over on TikTok. We just posted some Pokemon card videos, but Matt's mostly doing comics over there. Once he gets through all the packages, like he said, he'll be doing some giveaways and also doing some comic reviews, which I'm excited because I have a hard time sitting down and reading things, but I like it's funny. I sometimes I can't sit down and read things, but I can put on a YouTube video, someone explaining the comic and process it a lot better. So when Matt gets those comic reviews up, that'll be one of my recurring views that I watch on TikTok. So make sure you go follow him on all that, and make sure you go like. He's got a bunch of videos already posted. He's opening packages from 3 years, in the past. So I'm seeing some 2024 stuff, 2023 stuff that he's dropping in there. Matt, I'll ask you right at the end of this, just for as we're getting out of here. Is there a comic or any comics that you're excited for that are coming up soon? That not necessarily that you've already gotten, but some new issues of anything that you're looking forward to?
There's a book coming out called The Terminal, which is done by one of your favorite creators, Robert Kirkman.
Okay. Yeah, hey, look, just recently got into Invincible. I'm loving it so far. I'm a big Walking Dead guy as well. So I'm all for it already.
So Kirkman's doing The Terminal. That comes out like in a month or two. It's got good art by I think Andy Kubert or Adam, one of the Kubert brothers, and the Kubert brothers have been around for a while. They're very solid. So that for sure. I'm trying to think what else is maybe coming out. That's I'm curious. I mean, just recently, dude. Like I said, just the Absolute Batman books, man, or the Absolute books in general, dude. Absolute Green Arrow just started, which is been another fun title. But Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman. DC Comics is killing it with these reinventions. We'll see how long they last. But right now, they've been killing it with these reinventions. So.
Yeah, and you recently just gave me this to read, so I'm going to be starting this soon.
Yeah,
the
dude,
Best of Wolverine, Volume 1.
Man. You're going to get the Wolverine, the original Claremont, Frank Miller 4-issue miniseries in there. You're going to get the Barry Windsor Smith Weapon X story in there.
Isn't it true that that canonically Wolverine is only like 5'3" or something like that?
Yeah, dude, he's short. Yeah, no, he's
crazy.
Not. Yeah, he's supposed to be a short dude, So.
They've portrayed him to be so tall in the cinematic universe.
It's hard to find an actor, that height, and Wolverine. He wasn't meant to be this guy. He was supposed to be the tough guy. He wasn't supposed to be the ladies' man,
Right.
He was supposed to be, like the. I mean, Colossus used to pick him up and throw him. They call it the fastball special,
Okay. Well, I saw this fan casting the other day. Wanted to get your opinion, and then we'll get out of here. But mostly because he does kind of match the height. He's 2 inches taller than canonically what Wolverine would be. But I saw someone fan cast Daniel Radcliffe as a potential Wolverine.
Radcliffe's been fan cast a couple times. Him and Taron Egerton. I don't know if you know who Taron Egerton is.
I think I do. I can't picture the face, but.
He was in the Kingsman movies, and
yeah. Okay, I know.
But those two guys have been fan casted, morphed, or whatever. I think they're the best. I don't know how tall Edgerton is. Look, I think it'd be great if Daniel Radcliffe could do it, and like people could let go of Harry Potter. You know what I mean, dude? I think I would love to see Daniel Radcliffe try to do Wolverine. I think he'd do a great job.
I think now would probably be the best time to give it a shot too, with the new Harry Potter series starting up, and now we're introducing a new generation to a new cast of Harry Potter, cast members. I think now might be the time.
Maybe the culture could let go of Daniel as Harry Potter.
Yeah, maybe so, because none of the other actors ever did anything past it, so they couldn't.
No, they really haven't, dude. Like
I mean, Daniel Radcliffe has done some stuff, but he's always been Harry Potter. Yeah,
I mean, Hermione did Beauty and the Beast, and that was about the only thing I know that she did really.
Yeah, and the guy that played Draco, I can't tell you anything else he did.
Oh, he was in the Flash TV show for a little bit, I think, or the Arrow, one of the CW shows.
And who's the guy that plays Rupert Grint? Is that his name?
Yeah,
I don't think he did.
He does a bunch of Apple Plus TV series, I think.
Okay.
He's become like the Apple Plus guy. So.
Yeah. So we used to call those straight to DVDs. That's what we used to call those. All right. Well, look, I just wanted to bring up some comic stuff at the end here, but
yeah, Daniel Radcliffe is Wolverine. Yeah, no, 2 thumbs up right there. I'd love to see it. So.
Let's get it. All right. Well, that's been our Night of Champions predictions. Let us know what you thought. Drop some comments down below. And until next time, we're out of here.
Yo.